Do not enter the house once more.
In a quiet little village in the English countryside, there was a legend about an old house known as Shadwell Manor. The house sat on the edge of the village, surrounded by thick trees that seemed to choke it. Built over a century ago, it had been abandoned after a series of mysterious events no one could explain. Locals spoke of strange noises at night, shadows moving behind its shattered windows, and a faint light that appeared and disappeared in the darkness. But Emma, a 22-year-old with a bold and adventurous spirit, wasn't one to fear stories and legends. She was passionate about uncovering mysteries and determined to document the truth about Shadwell Manor. On a cold winter night, armed with her backpack containing a camera, phone, and flashlight, she set out for the house, ignoring the warnings of her friends and neighbors. When Emma stood before the house, she felt an unnatural heaviness in the air. The doors and windows were covered in decaying wood, and the walls were cloaked in creeping vines. She pushed open the wooden door, which creaked ominously, and stepped inside. The interior was worse than she had imagined. The furniture was decayed, the walls coated with a thick layer of dust and mold. The floorboards groaned with every cautious step she took. Emma began recording the scene, her camera lighting up the dark corners, capturing every eerie detail. As she moved through the house, the air grew inexplicably colder, despite her heavy coat. Suddenly, she heard slow, deliberate footsteps coming from the upstairs floor. She froze. Her heart raced. Who could possibly be up there? Instead of fleeing, Emma decided to investigate. Whispering to herself, "It's just a sound, maybe the wind, or an animal," she gripped her camera tightly and ascended the creaking staircase. At the top, she found herself in a long, dark hallway with a door tightly shut at the end. She approached it cautiously and tried to open it, but it wouldn't budge. As she struggled with the door, she heard a whisper right behind her. "Why did you disturb us?" She froze in terror. Quickly turning around, she saw nothing. Suddenly, the door before her began to creak open slowly, revealing a dark room beyond. Inside the room was a rocking chair swaying back and forth, as if someone invisible was sitting in it. On the floor, wet footprints appeared, leading directly toward her. Panicking, Emma stepped back, but the door slammed shut behind her, trapping her inside. Voices began to fill the air, whispers, faint laughter, and a low moaning sound that seemed to come from every corner. Trying to stay calm, Emma raised her camera and began filming, hoping to capture evidence of whatever was happening. But then, her camera abruptly shut off, its light fading into the darkness. Suddenly, a tall man appeared before her. His features were vague, his eyes empty, like dark voids. His gaze didn't focus on her, but she could feel him watching. He smiled coldly and whispered in a chilling voice, "You are one of us now." Emma stepped back quickly, desperately trying to open the door. But it wouldn't budge. It felt as if it had become part of the wall. She screamed for help, but her voice seemed to dissolve into the void. The man moved closer, his hand reaching out for her. In a moment of desperation, Emma threw her backpack at him and sprinted toward the window. She tried breaking it to escape, but it was sealed shut, as if it were never meant to open. Turning back, she found the room empty, no rocking chair, no footprints, no man. But before she could catch her breath, she felt a cold hand rest on her shoulder. The next morning, the villagers came searching for Emma after noticing her absence. When they arrived at Shadwell Manor, they found the door wide open and her camera lying on the floor in the hallway. When they reviewed the footage, they saw Emma crying and screaming in the final clip, her voice trembling with terror. "Don't go in, the house wants more." From that day on, no one dared to approach the house. Every night, the faint light would return to its windows, as if the last visitor had become a part of the house's dark secrets.